What's going on, CashSports family? How y'all doing today? Welcome to CashSports Podcast. I am glad to be back right here with y'all on CashSports. Y'all already know what it is, man. I know it is late. It is a late Saturday night. I just got back, working. And you know what? First thing that came on my mind was to come on here and do this live stream, right? Right? I'm here. I'm talking sports. I want to talk sports. I want to debate. Right, y'all already know, man. And that link is in the comment section for those who do want to join. Right. So right now, before I get into any topics, y'all already know, man. If I'm here late, please like and subscribe to the CashSports Podcast. Please support the podcast, man. Y'all see, man. I'm here. I'm working. I'm doing my thing, and I'm talking sports. Let me check this comment section. Thank you, Void, once again for giving that thumbs up, man. I always appreciate it, man. Appreciate you, bro. So let's get right into it, right? So the first topic today, y'all already know, man, is Saturday. So what happens on Saturday? Late in the year. And y'all already know it is college football. I know I haven't talked a lot about college football as of recently, but it's a lot of sports that I try to cover. I try to cover college football. I try to cover NFL, NBA, little here and there with college basketball, boxing, MMA. So it's a lot of sports to cover. So I do try to cover as much as possible, especially game days. I know I slacked a little bit with NFL in this past week, but this week was pretty insane for me. So but I definitely will get back into it. I know I didn't give you those odds, so very big mishap on my part. But at the end of the day, man, I'm gonna come on here as much as I can just so we can have that intern. Right? So first topic today. Oh, did somebody just appreciate the love, Foster. Or Void. Thank you, man. Appreciate the love, bro. So first topic today, right? We're gonna bring this up. We're gonna pull it up right here. Athletic college football top 25 results, live updates, please. Right? Y'all see it right there, man. I'm ready to get into it. So let's scroll down. I don't want to waste any of you guys' times. So let's get right into it. So college football today, very exciting games today. There were a lot of blowouts. I mean, come on, it's college football. Y'all already know y'all gonna get those blowouts. But here's the deal. I'm gonna tell you guys how I'm gonna do this breakdown. So it is the top 25 college football team. So we're just gonna look at the scores for those teams specifically. And there are some live updates. As you can see, it does say live updates. So you guys are going to hear what's going on currently in college football. So let's get into it, man. So you already know about number one Georgia winning today 39 to 22 over Kent State. Not one of the most impressive victories, especially for Georgia. We already know that Georgia is one of the best defensive teams in college football in the nation, right? Georgia prides themselves because of their defense, and that's kind of their driving point, So not really surprising though that they came out with the win, as they should. Some of these games you can't expect for them to always be blowouts, like Alabama. Alabama blew the hell out of Vanderbilt, 55-3. And then in recent news also, Bryce Young have heard to have sprained his ankle. So we're going to get a lot more update as the week follows. But as of right now, I think Alabama Crimson Tide are in a green. They're still in a green area because, they're still in the beginning of the year. So I don't think they're going to have to worry about Bryce Young as of right now. But it's still a huge loss, right, to have your starting quarterback. Next up, number 3 is Ohio State. They won today 52-21. I wouldn't say it was a close game, but Wisconsin definitely managed to put up some points. But CJ Stroud had one of his best performances again for the year. He threw for 5 touchdowns today. Man, what a phenomenal player, right? We already know that he was the Heisman favorite heading into, and game after game, he's still proving it. But we already know when it comes to the Heisman, it's not just about beating those small teams. It's about beating those teams later on in the year, because we already know that big game that Ohio State is really worried about is the Michigan game, and then any game that follows there afterwards. And not to mention it, right? Number 4, Michigan. Michigan managed to slip through. They managed to slip through with this win, 34-27 against Maryland. I didn't really tune in and really watch that game, so all I know is that they managed to sneak by with that one. Now I did catch some of the Clemson and Wake Forest game. It was a really good game when I was watching the beginning of it early in the day. I know that his quarterback. I don't know the quarterback's name for Clemson, so forgive me on that. I'm just gonna say QB5, right? He threw for over 300 yards and 5 touchdowns in this game, so he had a phenomenal game. And then, not to mention, too, number 21, Wake Forest, who managed to drop 45 on Clemson's defense, managed to throw for 6 touchdowns in that game. I know Clemson's one of those big powerhouse teams, but something to look at, especially when you're going further down the line with Clemson. They're not in the strongest conference, but if you're letting Wake Forest drop 45 points on you and throw for 6 touchdowns, I mean, hey man, you got some concern to do. And then the next game after that, Kansas State managed to beat number 6 Oklahoma 41-34. Now this was probably the biggest upset of the day, right? Oklahoma fell short to Kansas State. Nothing much more to really say about that. As of right now, number 7 USC is still playing against Oregon State. I could probably give you guys a live update on at least on that. But as far as I'm concerned, I think USC was up 10-7, and they were the last people to have the ball, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and then USC, they are up 10-7, like I said before, and they are in the red zone, and 6 minutes left. Check that comment section. Ohio State, baby. Nah, for sure, man. Ohio State, man. I got Ohio State winning this year. I think CJ Stroud. I think old boy's is gonna win the Heisman for sure. I think he definitely has a lot of upside this year. I think this is the year when he finally makes some big moves, man. For real. Okay. So number 8, Kentucky beat Northern Illinois 31-23. Number 23, Texas A&M beat number 10, Arkansas 23-21. So this was somewhat of an upset also. Number 11, Tennessee beat number 20, Florida 38-33. Now this was also an upset, all things considering, because I think Tennessee wasn't going to be looked at as a team to compete with a team like Florida. I mean, that may be the case, but Tennessee hasn't been 4-0 in their schedule since 2016. So I would definitely say we gotta look out for Tennessee, because hey man, they are in the SEC conference. So don't any of those big powerhouse teams, they can't be sleeping on Tennessee, not just yet, because after this week they're definitely probably gonna be in the top 10. That's for sure. Number 12, North Carolina State beat UConn 41-10. Number 13, Utah beat Arizona. Oh no, they're still playing right now. Number 14, Penn State beat Central Michigan 33-14. Oregon, number 15, beat Washington State 44-41. Number 16, Ole Miss beat Tulsa 35-27. Baylor beat Iowa State 31-24. Number 18, Washington is still playing against Stanford at this moment. Same goes for BYU in Wyoming. And another update today, Texas Tech beats number 22, Texas 37-34. And then number 24, Pitt beat Rhode Island 45-24. And then one of the biggest upsets also today is the Miami lost to Middle Tennessee 45-31. And so we had some good games today, man. We really did. So let's look at some of these updates just to see what's going on. So Drew Payne and, and Notre Dame are gradually improving. Drew Pine's entire afternoon have been according to plan. The quarterback helping Notre Dame snap out of its offensive morass in a 45-32 win over North Carolina that felt more lopsided than the final score. But he exited his post-game media obligation still unsure whether he's done enough. Right? So we already know with Notre Dame, they had I know they lost to Ohio State. I forgot who they lost to in the week after that. I believe they lost the second game, if I'm not mistaken. But with Notre Dame, it's one of those teams that fluctuates because of the fact that they're independent and they're not associated with the conference. It's really hard to kind of measure out their success. And then the only way they can really measure out their success is not with a conference win, because they're not in a conference, is really by, your national championship. So with Notre Dame, we already know that they have a lot of work to do, but we'll see, man. We'll see. In other news, I'm not going to really worry about the Sun Devils. Middle Tennessee. The head coach definitely had some things to say. So for those who didn't catch the Middle Tennessee and Miami game, check this out. Middle Tennessee head coach Rick Stockstill on beating Miami. It was a butt kicking. It was no fluke. We were the tougher team. Man, say it louder, bro. He said it with his chest. I mean, when you're a coach, right, in this particular situation, and you're preparing for you're preparing to go against a team like when you're preparing to go against a team like Miami, I mean, hey, you gotta be ready, for a coach to come in and set up the game plan, make sure that your players are ready for a weekly matchup. I mean, I'm not going to take away any credit from him or the players themselves, so he went into that game fully prepared, looking forward to playing a ranked team like Miami. Definitely came out with a win. Let me see. Okay, Travis Tye having another big game against Oregon State. Travis Tye sure loves playing against Oregon State. The Oregon transfer is now up to 595 rushing yards and 5 TDs for his career against the Beavers, with his last scoring coming on the fourth down to give USC a fourth quarter lead. So there you have it, right? So did that just happen? Let me see. Let me see what's going on with that game right now, man. Oh, so Oregon State is actually up. USC did not score in that 6 minutes when they were in the red zone. And now Oregon State right now, man. It's definitely looking like a game right now. I definitely probably want to catch that, but I could just keep you guys updated as much as possible. But you know what? Keep me updated too. I definitely want to hear about that game. So Kansas State upsets number 6 Oklahoma, as we already know. A standout game for Adrian Martinez lifted Kansas State over previous undefeated number 6 Oklahoma 41-34 Saturday night. Right? If you want to go further, I say check out the Athletic, or you can just check out that game yourselves. Highlights, you already know, man. Red Raiders, bold breakthrough, horns, familiar feeling. It isn't quite 2008, but it will certainly be a day Texas Tech will certainly hold dear. Joey McGuire and the Red Raiders pulled off a 37-34 overtime win Saturday over number 22 Texas, marking their first victory over a ranked Longhorns team since Michael Crabtree tight-roped into the end zone in Tech's memorable upset 14 years ago in Lubbock. So I remember this game. I specifically remember this game when Texas Tech was playing against Texas, and then Texas Tech managed to just, pull one out of their butts, man. That catch with Michael Crabtree near that end zone, I'm not gonna lie, it was crazy. It was one of the craziest college football catches I've ever seen, especially with it being so late in the fourth quarter with the game on the line. It was literally the last catch of the game. And that's what made this win and that game so memorable. So for a team, you already know, Texas, they love their football, right? So for teams like Texas Tech and Texas to go against each other, and then for either one to come out with a win, it's definitely something you got to stick to, man. And so number 23, Texas A&M takes down number 10 Arkansas. Number 10 ranked Arkansas, last second field goal to complete the comeback over number 23 Texas A&M. Ricocheted. Sorry about that. I don't know how to pronounce that. Off the top of the right upside, sending the Razorbacks home upset and the Aggies fan in pandemonium. Right? NC State, Clemson, time set. NC State at Clemson next week. See, I'm not even gonna worry about. So Kansas State beats Oklahoma again. Kansas State had one AP top 10 win from 1936 to 1994. It has been 3 top 10 wins against Oklahoma in the past 4 seasons. Woo, man. So Oklahoma out here giving dubs to people, man. Bryce Young update. As I mentioned before, Bryce Young is injured, right? So Nick Saban on Byron Young's, he's got a sprained ankle. That's all we got. That's all we know. We're just gonna have to wait on what follows after that, right? And then so after that, man, I don't think there's anything else that's pretty interesting. As much as I would like to talk about college football more and more, I would like to have somebody here to kind of engage with me on college football instead of just me yammering, because there's a lot of content, a lot of things to kind of talk about when it comes to college football. But I can yammer on all day about NFL, right? Which we are going to get to now, right? Okay, so how about this? Before I get into that, please like and subscribe to the CashSports podcast, man. Y'all already know I would graciously appreciate it. Y'all would certainly be looking out for the boy, man. So please, y'all, I know y'all see that cash app. I already got my guy Void being the first donation to the CashSports podcast. So I gotta shout him out, man. Just for doing this thing. So I'm gonna bring up another article from The Athletic, and it's gonna be about the NFL best bets for tomorrow's games, right? Now, so I'm still giving you guys some bets, but for the most part, I just want to kind of go over the primetime games that we're going to be looking at, or some of these experts are going to be looking at, and then I'm also going to be putting out or telling you guys the games that I'm going to be watching for tomorrow's games, giving my predictions, and then we can go on from there, right? Alrighty then. So let me pull this up for you guys right now. Boom. So y'all see it? Making sure it pops up on the screen for y'all. The NFL's best bets. Zach Vernon makes his week 3 picks against the spread. So we're gonna see what picks or what games he's particularly gonna be pointing out, and then we're just going from there. Simple as that. All right. So first game on the list, or we can read a little bit. So last week's record was 3-3 overall, 2-2 versus the spread, and 0-1 in an upset pick on the money line, 1-0 on player props. Season 7-5 overall, 5-3 versus the spread, and 0-2 in upset picks on the money line. As tough as it is to bet against Tom Brady in the Buccaneers injury report, combined with a 1-game suspension of Mike Evans, is worrisome. They could play without Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Julio Jones, depleting Brady's weapons against a defense that already leads the NFL in pressure rate, 42%. The Bucs defense is also as good as advertised. Number 1 in EPA play, only 13 points allowed in 2 games, but Rodgers threw for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns when last played in January 2021. He didn't fare as well in the regular season that year. The rosters are different since those meetings, but the Packers are getting healthier on the offensive line. The game is essentially a pick'em with 2 future Hall of Fame quarterback. So I'll bet on a team with the less expected roster attrition If Kenny Clark's injury proves to be as serious to keep him out, then it could affect the Packers, right? So we can get into that one for sure. So the best afternoon game is going to be the Packers and the Buccaneers, right? So I'm not gonna lie, I picked the Buccaneers to win this game. Honestly, no. Sorry, I read the Buccaneers. I got the Packers winning this game. Honestly, we already know with the pressure with Aaron Rodgers. Reason being why, I mean, I know I shouldn't be betting against Tom Brady, but my thing about it is, just there's just a lot going on with the Buccaneers currently, especially with this year being Tom Brady's last year and the weapons considering. Look, I know Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are going to do some damage this year. They're going to go into the playoffs, and then what's one game in the regular season? At least with this game. I feel like the Packers have a lot more to prove. They can't come into this game thinking, all right, we can lose this game, by a lot. They can't. They can't lose this game less than 20 or more than 20, I may say, right? So the Packers kind of come in here because given the fact that they lost some, Devontae Adams, I believe Sammy Watkins is even on IR also. So for the Packers, it is a good thing that their offensive line is getting back to where it needs to be. So I do see the Packers and Aaron Rodgers probably doing his thing and coming out and making the statements, especially coming off that week 2 win against the Chicago Bears, where a lot of experts were saying that game wasn't too convincing. So this would truly be a big test for the Green Bay Packers, more so for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, so for the next game, pick of the week is the Rams versus the Cardinals. So the Rams are favored in this game by minus 3.5 at Arizona. The Rams haven't looked like the Super Bowl versions of themselves during the first 2 games, and the Cardinals have looked even worse. History favors the Rams, who are 6-1 in the 7 games against Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury combination, including the playoffs. Murray has rushed for only 24.3 yards per game in the 6 regular season meetings, which is 14 yards under his career average. His completion percentage and yards per game are also noticeably below his career average. The Rams are the more talented team with favorable trends against the opponent. Bet on the champs. Right? So I'm not going to disagree with this too much, man. We already know that the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury is always going to have trouble with the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, they still have Aaron Donald. Sorry about that. I mean, they still have Aaron Donald. They still have Cooper Kupp. For the most part, they still have Matthew Stafford. And then now that they have Allen Robinson, I mean, we got to give credit to where credit is due, man. Rams are just known for building a really good roster. I mean, even though they had a really rough week 1, and I do agree that the Rams do not look like the Super Bowl champs in those first 2 weeks, but they're still a team that we got to look out for. It's still the early in the season. And even though it's early in the season, we can say the same thing about the Arizona Cardinals. But, I mean, we see it for ourselves. Arizona Cardinals are 6-1 against the Rams in those 7 games that with Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury combination. So, I see that record going to 7-1. Enough said there. So upset special is the Texans plus 125 at Bears. These are the 2 of the NFL's worst teams. Although the Texans have had had 4th quarter leads against the Colts and the Broncos. They rank number 21 in DVOA. 9 spots ahead of the Bears. Neither offense has much firepower. The 40-point over-under is the lowest in the Sunday's games, and the lack of scoring could be the advantage for an upset. The concern is Bears coach Matt, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Eberflus. Colts defense held Houston to 3 total points in 2 meetings last season. Unfortunately for Herbert Flus, he doesn't have the Colts roster. The Texans have proven they could still stay competitive with two teams with projected winning records based on preseason win totals. Now they play a team with a projected losing record. The 3-point spread is more appealing than the money line. But if you're looking for an underdog to win outright, it helps when you're picking against the Bears, right? I'm in the same ballpark. I just put in my line. I'm picking the Texans, man. I'm not too high and mighty on the Chicago Bears, even though I know Justin Fields could make some plays. He could do some things, but I just don't see it, man. Chicago Bears is just I feel safer betting against them than betting with them. I'll say that. I'll leave it at that. And then so the next game is Sunday night prime time, right? Denver Broncos going against the San Francisco 49ers. Broncos are favored on 1.5 in this game against the 49ers. There's no defending the way the Broncos have played this season, but I like a home underdog with a superior quarterback. In the past 5 seasons, the Broncos are 8-1 against the spread in 9 games where they were home underdogs by a spread of 3 points or fewer. They won 5 of those games outright. Betting history aside, there's bound to be some return to the mean for this offense. They haven't scored a touchdown on 6 visits to the red zone this season, which is hard to fathom. That's reflected in the fact that they're number 9 in EPA drive and number 19 in points per drive. I need to think their offense would generate more points. The 49ers have allowed only 26 points in 2 games and have proven they can win against anybody with Jimmy Garoppolo. But they bet on the Broncos being better than they've looked. Right? So, you know what, though? I'm going to disagree with this one. Right here, I'm going to pick the San Francisco 49ers, man. Because why? You know, Jimmy G's back in the starting quarterback lineup, and George Kittle is going to be coming back in this game. So for me, we already know that Trey Lance isn't going to be playing for the rest of the season. So for me, man, I'm going to go with the 49ers. Nothing more to say there. I'm going with Niner Nation, man. Especially Niner Nation has been looking out for my channels, man. Y'all been watching my videos. Even though y'all talk a lot of ish on my comments, man, I do appreciate y'all watching my videos, you know, dropping them likes. So at the end of the day, man, I'm going to rock with y'all, man. Even though even though the Giants, we beat y'all in the playoffs. Just remember that. So I'm giving y'all love. All right. And now the Monday night primetime game with the Cowboys being the favorite in this game by 1 point. Cowboys open up the week as 2.5 points underdog, and that would be more appealing than this line. But the movement is a good sign for the Cowboys' chances, even for Cooper Rush at quarterback against a blitzing Giants defense. They can win this game outright. The Cowboys' 9-1 record over the Giants since 2017 matters less with Dak Prescott out of the lineup, but the Cowboys still have a talent advantage, especially on defense. The Giants have allowed pressure on 49.3% of their snaps, and Michael Parsons enters the game with a league-leading 22% pressure rate and 8 quarterback hits. You can change a game. The Giants have won 2 games by a combined 4 points and have scored only 4 touchdowns. My guess is that they have a hard time moving the ball against the Cowboys. Even at 2-0, the Giants are number 18 in DVOA. If this wasn't the Monday night game, I'd stay away. Forced to pick it, I'd take the better roster, even with a question mark at quarterback, right? So I don't disagree with his analysis because Michael Parsons is definitely a dangerous defensive player. And, you know, the Giants, especially in the first half, we definitely struggle. But I like Brian DeBoer's in-game adjustments. I know I'm taking a lot from some I'm taking some information from some experts, but I agree, man. I like what I'm seeing with what Brian DeBoer is doing with the Giants, and especially what I'm seeing from Saquon Barkley, and especially this Giants defense, right? So this Giants defense has definitely come up big. They came up in week 1 and week 2, and the Giants are my team, man. The Giants are my team, so ain't no way in hell I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys to beat my Giants, man. Ain't no way in hell. So you know what? I'm picking the Giants for the upset. I'm picking the underdogs, man. Bunk that, man. I ain't picking no Cowboys to pick my Giants. Y'all crazy as hell. Get the hell out here with that. Right? And then player props, to throw that in there too. The Falcons tight end has had 2 catches for 19 yards in each of the first 2 games, and he was targeted on only 10.3% of his routes last week, the second lowest percentage of his career. For a player of Pitts' caliber that often leads to manufactured targets, the following week, Pitts has been targeted at least 6 times in 14 of the last 19 games. He's played. Of those 14 games, he's exceeded 46 yards 10 times. Look for Pitts to have a rebound performance this weekend, right? So can't really disagree with that one. You know, I don't really watch. I mean, I know who Kyle Pitts is, and I know what type of monster he can be. It's just the fact that, you know, Kyle Pitts hasn't really had a consistent quarterback kind of throwing to him. You know, if you're looking at 2 catches and then he's only gained 10% of the targets, I mean, that falls on the quarterback, you know, or some of it, or at least, you know, so I'll at least leave it at there. So I hope you guys at least like, you know, that little article from The Athletic. Like I say, please tune in to The Athletic, and please download The Athletic if you guys want to tune in, get this sort of information later on in the future, because The Athletic, man, they definitely do got some good information, especially when it comes to bets, news, and most of the time when you guys hear dropping news, breaking news, it's usually on from and on The Athletic. So check it out, man. So before I head out of here, I do want to go over the games that I particularly that I'm going to be paying attention to tomorrow. So I'm gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna go over them, and then let's head out of here. You know, so for the first game, I definitely want to be paying attention to Chiefs and Colts. I know this doesn't sound like a crazy matchup, but especially with Colts, they haven't had a good past couple weeks, especially losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is a horrible loss, because I don't understand how a team you let beat you and kick you out of the playoffs, who was supposed to be number 1 overall pick last year, and then you got butt whooped again. So it wouldn't shock me if the Colts came out of here, Matt Ryan came out and had a different performance. Hopefully, if that's the case, maybe if that's the case, if Matt Ryan ever wants to show a glimmer of when he was playing like an MVP, this would definitely be the game, especially with last week with as many comebacks have we seen. I know we didn't talk about it. I know. I want to talk about it. But it's kind of a little bit too late for all that now. So I can only kind of stick to what's coming up this week. But yeah, man. So I could see it. I could see maybe a little upset in this game, but for the most part, I'm still gonna pick the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. All right. Another game to look out for is the Bengals and the Jets. Now, reason being why I picked this game is because Jets are one of those teams that got nothing to lose, nothing to play for, or nothing to lose. They're already kind of looked at as being one of those bottom of the barrel teams in terms of their expectation for the season, especially with Zach Wilson being out and Joe Flacco being the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. But New York Jets, going off their past week performance, they played phenomenal when it really mattered. They stuck it through. They didn't give up, and that's what really matters, man. Even the worst teams can come back on you if you guys, just kind of let things, if you just get a little bit lackadaisical, man. So, and especially with the Bengals, Joe Burrow has been sacked tremendously. They have a huge issue with their line and communication when it just comes to chemistry on that front, right? So Joe Burrow threw 4 interceptions in the first game, and I believe he's already the most sacked quarterback in the league. I may or may not be mistaken. I know that he's already been sacked 13 times in this season alone, and it's just been 2 weeks. So I would definitely say it's a game that we definitely got to look out for, and I'm definitely gonna want to see Joe Burrow redeem himself. Joe Burrow and the Bengals redeem themselves. Another game that I think is going to be another phenomenal game is the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. I think, based off what we just seen from, the Miami Dolphins, man, I got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, and then Tua Tagovailoa was the player of the week, and he threw for over 400 yards and had 6 touchdowns. And then Josh Allen is doing that every week. I mean, not 6 touchdowns, but they're letting Josh Allen get loose, man. They're really letting Josh Allen get loose. He's doing whatever he wants on the offense. He has full control of the offense. He is the captain of that ship. And so this is going to be an exciting game. We already know Dolphins, man. They have one of the fastest, one of the best receiving cores in the league. So please watch out for this game, because I certainly will. And another game, right, that I would like to point out. I mean, we have already talked about the Rams and the Cardinals, so I'm not going to talk about the games that we've kind of already spoken about. That's it for the most part. All right, so I'll give you one more game, and this is probably not favorite. The Jaguars and the Chargers, right? We already know that there's some headlines with Justin Herbert, whether he's going to play. It was this week where it was confirmed that he had something wrong with his ribs. So we're waiting to see, if it's confirmed, because we do know that he is questionable. But a team that I'm going to be looking out in particularly is the Jacksonville Jaguars, because if Justin Herbert is not playing, this is definitely an opportunity for the Jacksonville Jaguars and to steal a win against a very good team. Right, so for the Jacksonville Jaguars, we already know that they're not in one of the best or even the craziest divisions. So they're playing against like the Texans, I believe, the Colts. I forgot the other team in that division. So, but they can definitely sneak. They can definitely take this division by sneaking it out. In Trevor Lawrence, he's been playing better. He's definitely been playing better this year. He's in top 5 categories as of late. So I would definitely say look out for Trevor Lawrence and to see how his sophomore year plays out, right? So for those of you watching, those of you streaming in, please like and subscribe to the CashSports podcast, man. I would graciously appreciate it, man. Void, if you're still tuning in, if it is you, once again, bro, I thank you, bro. That's all it is, man. That's all I gotta say. Just thank you for donating. Thank you for being the first, the first donation to the CashSports podcast, man. Because at the end of the day, man, my goal is to be able to do this as my main job, to do this on a consistent basis. If I could get paid to do CashSports, man, it would be a dream of mine. I could just sit here and talk sports, talk about football, basketball. You already know, man. You already know what it is, man. So keep liking and subscribe. Liking and subscribe means way more to me, than it is money. But I know, Void, you do both. So you're already looking out, man. So there is much more that I feel like I need to say, unless anybody else has anything to say in the comment section. That is about it, right? So there are no new comments. I'm gonna just leave this up here because Void, look, you donate some money, so I'll get your comments up there. Ohio State, definitely feel that, right? And so that is it. So thank you guys once again for tuning in to CashSports, and have a wonderful time. And tune in to sports.